So I'm sitting here. I'm on Main Street of the little town that we live in. It's called Eltham. And Eltham literally means home of God. El as in El Shaddai, Elohim, Tham as in home. And I don't know if you can hear the traffic. I'm watching foot traffic, listening and seeing some of the car traffic. And I'm noticing what people are imagining. It's so obvious. What people consider to be their inner secret world. It's just worn on their sleeve. It's right there. It's right out in the open. And I notice it's like most people treat their lives like traffic instead of letting it be an adventure. So right now, I'm wondering what's Tony up to? Because I've never written a book 3 minutes at a time. And I've never written a book 3 minutes at a time with someone from around the world. I suspect Tony's not being traffic either. So I'm going to toss some how-to in because I just feel like tossing some how-to in. I find being unedited and spontaneous is a lot more fun than not being unedited and spontaneous. So a long time ago, I became psychologically unemployable by simply imagining one thing. I imagined listening to traffic instead of being it. I imagined sitting in my Ames chair instead of sitting in the driver's seat. I imagined answering emails from cool people like Tony instead of having to have conversations with people that I wouldn't, well, you'd have to pay me to have conversations with them. I find the power of contrast to be liberating. I find the power of comparison to be enslaving. And I notice so many people are comparing when they could be contrasting. I think I'll leave it right about there. Because simply just exploring the difference between comparing and contrasting just might be life-changing. I'm curious about what Tony tosses into the mix next. And I'm curious about you. And I'd love to hear from you, the reader, the listener, and discover how this is given to you. Have a lovely day.
The adventure continues. So for me, it's about a balance of a bunch of fun activities. It's funny for me, I seem to turn everything into a business. Hobbies don't stay hobbies for long because I'm always trying to figure out how to maximize that for me. Of course, I went to school, first degrees in communications, my second degrees in business administration, and I decided I didn't want to administer a business, right? I want to manage a business. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I started starting businesses, and this was young, before I could sign my own contracts. Interesting. So I noticed that, and I noticed how I balance 5, 6, 7 entrepreneurial pursuits, social media, things that support those, a nonprofit foundation, and kind of where all those things were built up from. It's interesting. 20 was talking about his hometown. I live in Terre Haute, Indiana. Terre Haute means higher ground, which fits me pretty perfectly. I've always been a high vision type of person from the time I was a little kid. And I've always been into Native American culture as well, which I know Mr. 20 is too. I'm actually part of the Cherokee tribe, about a 32nd or something. Nothing huge, but definitely in my family, and it has influenced the way we were raised, how I revere nature, and kind of how I approach life. Grew up in the Cub Scouts, which is a model based on Native American. I was, of course, an Eagle Scout, one of the youngest. I got my Eagle Scout when I turned 14 years of age, which is the highest rank you can get in Boy Scouts. And with that, obviously you have to do a lot of merit badges, you learn a lot of things. But really, it was always about leadership and vision for me. I was the senior patrol leader. I was a junior assistant scoutmaster. I was the one running and planning and leading expeditions. And really, it's no different for me today. What I do now, for the most part, is run a coaching practice, which is about leadership and vision for CEOs, entrepreneurs, founders, boards of trustees, those type of things. And so it's interesting to me how characteristics we were born with develop over time, how we give in to the desires and feed the desires, and how they feed us in return in the end. So that's where I'm playing today, bouncing back and forth between several of those different things. Taking time here to give you guys a little update, and in this fun exercise on a new way to write a book with my friend and mentor, Mr. 2020.